Hey, so my name is Anna Moeller. I am doing my presentation today for my final for Chinese calligraphy, Chinese 20804 Fall 2020. I am focusing on the philosophy aspect of the class, so we're just gonna get right to it. So, Chinese calligraphy and philosophy. So, there are two different kinds of philosophies. One is Confucianism, and the other is Taoism. So, what is Taoism? Taoism essentially encourages those to emphasize doing what is natural and going with the flow. It is accepting and carefree. A Taoist attitude concerning life can be seen as accepting and yielding, but can also be seen as joyful and carefree of the Chinese character. It is more relaxed in expressing oneself and going about the ways of life, which is often hard for us Americans. Americans kind of have a culture of we need to work constantly, we don't take a breath, we're very, very power driven. But Taoism is a little bit more on the softer side. And a great example would be that the Chinese believe that nature and humans are to be one and that one cannot live without the other. For example, yin and yang is a great example. So the way that I remember yin and yang is embarrassing. So I remember it from Mulan 2, the Disney movie, when Shang and Mulan get engaged and they're about to be married, but we're having some issues deciding what they wanted in the future. So Mulan's parents decided that they were going to go ahead and give the two their wedding gift early, and they were yin and yang necklaces. This was a symbol of becoming one as a married couple and ultimately showing an example of Taoism. The second philosophy is Confucianism. It is seen to be both a religion and a philosophy, and it surrounds itself with a circle of togetherness. Confucianism was created by Confucius himself and is seen and recognized as both a religion and a philosophy. What does it mean to the Chinese population? Known as the substance of learning, the source of values, and the social code for all things. It is not a controlled religion. It is a whole. It has filial piety and efficacious government. It is also closely related to the circle of togetherness, as mentioned before. If you don't know what it is, this is known as one swift stroke, completing a perfect circle in calligraphy. It also allows for a meditative practice in letting go of the mind and allowing the body to create with no modifications. All right, so we're going to get into some of my examples. Here I have regular script. Some characteristics of regular script would be that the signs are tall and at ease. It has a squared shape and well-defined internal structure. Strokes are more extended and smoothed out, and then you lift the brush every time you make a new stroke. Second, we have regular script 2. Here's just a quick example that we have from class. And then next we have seal script. So some characteristics of seal script would be that it's considered to be the first script, and it was actually derived from the oracle bone process. It is also an ancient script, so it can be hard to read for many and does not have a specific stroke. It's a little bit more free run. Then we have clerical script. So some characteristics of clerical script is that the characters are often flat and wider than those in seal script and regular script. And then the brush has freer reign of motion and strokes may vary in width. And then next we have cursive, which is one of my favorite script styles. Um, and some characteristics of cursive is that it is highly rounded and soft with a noticeable lack of angular lines. The brush doesn't lift from the paper at all, so it is a constant stroke. Characters often run into one another, and the objective is to create smooth and beautiful writing. So here's a picture of me with my favorite piece of calligraphy. This is actually my name in Chinese, and I thought it would be kind of cool to show you something that represents me other than a specific character that we had talked about in class. So what do I think of Chinese calligraphy? So I think Chinese calligraphy is peaceful, mindful, and expressive. What I mean by peaceful is that it embodies natural elements and the essential skills in life. When talking about Chinese calligraphy, it is important to see the act as a whole method that represents how Chinese culture operates. Outside of the calligraphy itself, the materials used are all natural, which I believe enforces a peaceful aspect. Those may remember these to be bamboo from the brush, rabbit hair for the tip, and rice paper to draw on, so all natural elements. I chose the images above to represent peaceful because when I think of peace, I think of new beginnings and new life. A tree is a great symbol for this because a forest is made up to be thousands of new lives, old and new. But the image of every tree together simultaneously reminds me that Chinese calligraphy also is made up of old and new practices to perfect a peaceful act of art and expression. So, mindful. When I think of mindful, I think that it could be described as respectful and moral. Why do I think this? So, I have two examples. There is the more calm, relaxed, two pictures on the left that are like nature and just pretty and mindful of how the Chinese culture works. And then on the right, I have two pictures of a businessman and a businesswoman. And I have these pictures because whenever I was thinking of mindful, I was thinking of when we talked in class about how parents pick scripts for their kids to perfect, and each script shows a personality trait and what they're supposed to be like. So when you're thinking of Chinese calligraphy, you're to be mindful of which script you choose and how you use it because the Chinese culture has different meanings for each. And then expressive. I also think Chinese calligraphy to be expressive because it is in conjunction to reflection paper 8 on philosophy. I believe it is important to talk about why it is expressive and it has emotional connection to human philosophy. Some expressive examples could be anger, sad, happy, hard strokes, light strokes, frustrated strokes. Calligraphy is a way to let out your struggles, and which is why I believe it's to be expressive. It could be physical or mental, but to me, this is both physical and mental, but more mental than anything. It's an emotional response and it challenges your brain. But all in all, I think Chinese calligraphy is a very interesting subject to learn about. I didn't know very much before this course, but I appreciate it and the beauty, and I learned a lot more about Chinese culture. And I hope that everybody gets a chance to appreciate the beauty and the special background behind it and what it actually means. And thank you.